All right. We have four methods of driving real estate prices ever lower. Number one, the pick and pays, which have been in existence of people having to reset for about a year. So we've got 4 years to go on that. So that's 10, 11, 12, and 13. 2013. But most of them will come due by the middle of 2012. So that means that that pressure is going to be on the market, and it's usually the upper end of the market that hasn't really got hit as hard, really, as it should have compared to the other parts of the market. Second of all, we have prime borrowers, people who've never had a problem before, who have FOICs of 700, which is average, which is very good, 750 or 800. They're losing their jobs.
FOICs, what is that?
That's a rating system. 700 is good. 650 is Alta. Below 650 is subprime. And above 700 is very good. And so these people are going to be losing their homes because they lost their job. Then we have Alta loans, which have about a year to go, and they're still falling out in reset as well. And so we have these heavy-duty factors. Now, what the government has gone and done with FHA loans is they're delving back into issuing subprime loans, which caused this problem in the first place. And so 2 years from now, we're going to start getting people who got a subprime reset or a subprime loan from the FHA who can't make the payment because they're unemployed or it's just overwhelming for them. And we're going to see half of those loans go bad as well. So what is the outlook for real estate? Lower, and prices will go down into 2012. They should bottom there. And goodness knows how long they're going to bump along the bottom. It'll be a minimum of 5 years. So we're 8 or 9 years away from any recovery in real estate. And I'm talking residential. Commercial is going to be worse. And it could last another 20 years rather than 5. So people should continue to rent and not buy homes. If you have a home and you have some equity, get out. If you are underwater, get out. Let the bank take it. Go and rent. It's your best choice. Much less expensive.
So, you know, when the television financial info babe ladies have been talking about mortgages and buying homes, they've been sort of reserved. They say, well, it looks like we've hit the bottom, but we're not sure. I mean, they keep that really open because I think they know they're trying to convince people to go and get new mortgages, at the same time leaving out for themselves when this thing begins to crash.
Exactly. That's the way they're presenting it. And, of course, we have the same people who have been saying that we've hit the bottom and it's going to get better, and they've been wrong for 22 months. Some of them 2 or 3 times. Alan Greenspan, Jamie Dimon, who runs Citigroup. He runs J.P. Morgan Chase, and on and on and on. They're just lying. Mm-hmm. And it's part of the banking, government, Wall Street syndrome. There's no chance that anybody who is bright doesn't know that government in Washington is being run from Wall Street. It has been for years, but it's so obvious today. And that power, if they have their way, will get greater. And that's why it's so important we take out that Federal Reserve System.
Yes.
Because that is the core of their power.
How many signers onto this bill, on this H.R. bill of Ron Paul's to audit the Fed or end the Fed, how many signers does it take to bring it to a vote? Do you know?
Well, first of all, it's in committee, and when you have 183 sponsors, or co-sponsors as they're called, and you only need about 220 votes to win, I would think it's fast going to come out of committee. I've been asking people, particularly subscribers, because I sent a list on Saturday, and now I have another updated list which will go out tomorrow, on the people who are co-sponsors. People should contact them and thank them and tell them they want that bill out of committee into the House and they want it passed now. For the people who have not co-sponsored, they should be written to and be told, we want you to co-sponsor, we want it out of committee, we want it voted on, and we want it passed now. Just a few lines. What's happening here is this. Congress has been bought and paid for, about 90% of them, particularly the House, by banking, Wall Street, insurance companies, and corporate America. Now, for you to get 183 co-sponsors for this bill, when Ron Paul has been fighting in the trenches for years, I don't think he's ever got more than 15 or 20 sponsors for anything that he's put up.
That's right.
These people in Congress are getting shelled by their constituents. And so they're between the rock and a hard place. What they've got to do here is either bow to the bankers who gave them the money to get reelected, or they're going to have to bow to the constituents, and if they don't, they might get thrown out of office. Looks like they're going with the constituents.
Well, do you think, is this bipartisan, or are we seeing Democrats, Republicans? Though it doesn't make any difference. We know there's only one party. But are we seeing one party more than another that is supporting this?
I got to be honest with you, I didn't look.
It would be interesting to know that. I want to open up the phone lines because I know everybody wants to talk to you. 800-259-9231. If you have a question or comment for Bob Chapman, 800-259-9231. If you'd like to get a complimentary copy of the International Forecaster so you can figure out what's going on in the financial world, go to theinternationalforecaster.com. It seems that we've got a whole new group of people that are going to be thrown out of their houses at the same time that I've had people telling me that they've been trying to contact the banks asking for certain homes that are now being foreclosed upon. The houses are up for sale by the banks, and yet they can't get any response from them. You would think that the banks would be so desperate to offload these mortgages or these houses. They don't need to be taking care of it and doing, landscaping and garden work for the houses, but they can't get the banks to respond. What's going on here?
I think it's two things. Number one, they are totally overwhelmed, and number two, the competence level isn't there. And there's a lot of good people in banking, the average, employee, but they're just overwhelmed. That probably 1/3 to 1/2 of the homes that they have for sale are not even listed. They're not even up for auction. They're not up for anything because you might have a 10-square block, and one bank might have 20 homes in there, and they don't want to put them all up, so they might put 5 of them up. And so you really don't know exactly what the inventory of homes for sale is. I mean, they're talking about 11.5 months supply or whatever it is. It could be as high as 15.
That is awesome.
And then you get builders, even though they reduced from the peak, the number of homes they're building by 80.5%. And I had predicted they would have to cut 75% of their home building so that they wouldn't go out of business. I was wrong. It's even higher than that.
Oh, my goodness.
If they start building, who are they going to sell to? It cost them, let's say, hypothetically, $300,000 to buy a house, build a house, and they sell it for $400,000. Well, there's 9 million houses in the city that are for sale. They might be a year, 2, 5 years old, but they're for sale for $200,000. It's the same house, a little worn. So what is the buyer going to do? He's going to buy the $200,000 instead of the $400,000. So that's why I shorted the suppliers and the builders long ago, and in my recommendations. And the subscribers have made a fortune. We shorted Fannie Mae at 68 and covered at 80 cents. That means you bet the stock's going down. So people have made phenomenal amounts of money on the short side of the market, never mind being long gold and silver assets, which they've also mostly done very, very well. And so